Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome to our video lesson on Recount text. In this video, we will learn about structures, features, and how to write Recount text well. So, let's start. Okay, so recount text is a type of text that focuses on retelling an event or experience that has occurred in the past. The main purpose of recount text is to provide factual information about what happened in a clear chronological order. Recount text is usually written in a narrative form that describes events or experience in detail. In recount text, the use of past tense, such as the simple past tense and adverb of time, is very common. This helps the reader or listener to understand the event occurred in the past. In addition, the use of personal pronouns such as I or we is used to explain that the writer is the source of the experience being recounted. In everyday life, recount text has many purposes and use in communication. The following are some of purposes that uses of recount text. The first one is provides information about events or experiences that have occurred in the past. Recount text can help someone to convey their experience in detail to others. The second one is be an interesting or informative reading material. A good and interesting recount text can entertain and motivate readers to keep reading. And the last is describe an event or experience. In business communication or in a social context, recount text can help to provide an overview of a relevant event or experience. Recount text has several main characteristics that distinguish it from other type of text. Some of the main characteristics of recount text include the use of past tense, chronological order, and the use of personal pronouns. The following is a more detailed explanation of these features. First one is past time usage. Recount text used in the past form, such as the simple past tense, to describe an event or experience that have occurred in the past. Using past tense helps all the reader that the story experience being told has passed. For example, the use of word like I want, he saw, we visited denotes the action that occurred in the past. The second is chronological order. An important feature of recount text is the use of chronological order in telling event or experience. The recount text is arranged in such a way that the story follows the time sequence that occurs sequentially. It helps the reader to understand the storyline well. For example, the story begins with the initial event followed by the events that happen after, and the ends with the last event. The last is the use of personal pronouns. Recount text use personal pronouns like I, we, or they to indicate that the writer is the person who experienced or was involved in the event or experience being recounted. The use of personal pronouns gives a personal aspect to the recount text and helps form an emotional connection between the writer and the reader. Example of the using personal pronouns in recount text. I went to the beach with my family. We built sandcastle and swam in the clear blue water. Later, we had a picnic and enjoyed the beautiful sunset. By recognizing these main features, readers can identify recount text and understand the structure and style of language used in the text. The structure of recount text usually consists of three main parts. The first one is orientation, provides brief background on the event or the experience. The second is series of events, describe a chronological sequence of events or experience. In addition, there are some recount text structure. The first one is language use. The recount text use simple, clear, and descriptive language. The right choice of word and clever sentence variation help to tell the story effectively. The second is use of detail. Recount text provides sufficient detail to clearly describe the event or experience. This includes a description of the place, time, people involved, actions, and emotion derived by the author. The last is chronological order. Recount text follows the sequence of events or experience chronologically, starting from the beginning to the end. This helps the reader or listeners understand the line of the story well. Understand the storyline well. So here are the example of recount texts that reflect these characteristics. Last summer, my family and I decided to go on a camping trip. We were excited to spend time in nature and create lasting memories together. We packed up our camping gear and drove to a beautiful national park. When we arrived at the campsite, we were greeted by tall trees, chirping birds, and the shooting sound of a nearby river. We set up our tents and organized our supplies. Once everything was in order, we embarked on a hike along a scenic trail. The fresh air and picturesque view instantly lifted our spirits. We spotted colorful wildflowers, playful squirrels, and even a deer grazing peacefully at the distance. As the sun began to set, we returned to our campsite and building a crackling campfire. We roasted marshmallow on sticks and made delicious s'mores. Sitting around the fire, we shared stories, laughter, and cherished quality time together. The night sky was sparkling talking sight, filled the countless twinkling stars. We lay on our backs, gazing up the vastness of the universe, feeling of a sense of awe and wonder. The next morning, we woke up to the chirping of birds and gentle rustling of leaves. We cooked breakfast on a portable stove and enjoyed the simple pleasure of eating outdoors. Throughout the day, we explored the area, went fishing in a nearby lake, and had a picnic under the shade of a big oak tree. We feel a deep connection with nature and appreciate its beauty and tranquility. It was an unforgettable experience, and I can't wait for our next camping adventure. My first camping trip taught me the importance of disconnecting from the busy world, spending quality time with loved ones, and appreciating the wonders of nature. It was a journey filled with joy, laughter, and a sense of peace that will always hold a special place in my heart. So, the title of the story is My First Camping Trip, and we will analyze it. The orientation is last summer, my family and I decided to go on a camping trip. We are excited to spend time in nature and create lasting memories together. And events, we packed up our camping gear and drove to a beautiful national park. When we arrived at the campsite, we were greeted by tall trees, chirping birds, and shooting sound of a nearby river. We set up our tents and organized our supplies. The last is reorientation. It was an unforgettable experience, and I can't wait for our next camping adventure. My first camping trip taught me the importance of disconnecting from the busy world, spending quality time to loved ones, and appreciating the wonders of nature. It was a journey filled with joy. It was a journey filled with joy, laughter, and a sense of peace that will always hold a special place in my heart. So that's so after we analyze a context by the example like I did before, I hope you can write recount text properly. Okay, next is I will tell you how to write recount text. Here is a step-by-step to guide on how to write a recount text. The first one, select experience or event that you want to recount. It could be a trip, a fun activity, an important meeting, or some other rewarding experience. Make sure you have sufficient information and clear memories of the event. Step 2. Create a series of events. Arrange the series of events that occurred in a chronological order. Start from the initial event, then explain subsequent events in the order in which they occurred. Make sure your storyline is organized and easy for readers to follow. Step 3. Use the right tenses. Use the past tenses, such as the simple past tense, in your writing. This helps indicate that the event or experience occurred in the past. Be sure to use the verb in the form that match the past tense. Step 4. Use personal pronouns. Use personal pronouns. Use personal pronouns such as I, we, or they that connect yourself to event or experience being told. It gives a personal aspect to recount text and helps form an emotional connection between the writer and the reader. Step 5. Use description and details. Add relevant description and details to help readers visualize the event or experience you're recounting. Use your sense of sight, hearing, smell, feel, and taste to create a more vivid picture. Step 6. Use the right transitions. Use appropriate connecting words and transitional phrase to keep the storyline flowing and structured. For example, after that, then, and the same, finally, and so on. Step 7. Give a conclusion. Conclude your story by providing impression or lesson you got from the experience. Describe how valuable the experience was to you and how it affected to you personally. Step 8. Edit and revision. After writing your recount text, take some time to edit and revise your writing. Check grammar, spelling, and flow of the story. Make sure your recount text reads clearly and doesn't contain errors. Step 9. Reread and evaluate. Reread your recount text and its entirety and evaluate whether the story is well structured, clear, and provides an adequate description of the experience or event you are recounting. If necessary, ask other people's opinion to help you improve the quality of your writing. By the following step-by-step grid, you will be able to write recount text that is clear, structured, captivates the reader. Next is importance and revising and editing recount text. Improve writing quality. Revising and editing recount text help to improve the quality of your writing. You can correct grammatical, spelling, and sentence structure errors that may have been missed during the initial writing. This will make the recount text clear, easier to read, and professional. The second is improving the storyline. In the process of revising and editing, you can review the storyline and ensure the events or experiences are told in an orderly and chronological manner. You can add or remove relevant information and use appropriate linking words to maintain story cohesion and coherence. The third is refine description and detail. Revision and edits allow you to improve description and details used in your recount text. You can add vivid description and use the sense of sight, hearing, smell, feel, and taste. This will make the story more interesting and help the reader understand and connect with the experience being told. Next is pay attention to grammar and spelling. The revision and editing process helps you improve the grammar and spelling in your recount text. Check the appropriateness of tense, use the use of pronouns, use of articles, and use of punctuation. Make sure the recount text is free from grammatical and spelling errors that can interfere with the reader's understanding. In revising and editing your context, there are several tips that can be followed, such as giving a pass, giving a pause after writing, focusing on certain aspects, using tools, asking for feedback for others, and rereading critically. By implementing these steps, Recount text can reach its full potential and provide an engaging experience for the reader. In order to write a good recount text, it is important to pay attention to clarity, past tense, chronological order, and the use of personal pronouns. By following the right writer characteristic and guidelines, we can produce informative, interesting, and impressive recount text. So, by understanding the characteristic of recount text, involving revision and editing processes, and following effective tips, we can write strong and compelling recount text, able to communicate experience well to the readers. In conclusion, recount text is a type of text that describes past events or experience. In recount text, the use of past tense, chronological order, and the use of personal pronouns are the main of characteristics that are important. Recount text help us share experience to build emotional connection with the readers. In writing recount text, it is important to revise and edit the writing carefully. This process helps improve the quality of writing, improve storylines, refine description and details, and pay attention to grammar and spelling. Effective revision and editing ensures that the recount text becomes clear, structured, and attractive to the reader. Okay guys, that's are my explanation about recount text. I hope you can write the recount text properly by watching my explanation about what is recount text, what is the structure, what is the characteristic, how to analyze, and some other explanation. Thank you guys for watching my video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.